What exactly do feminine women bring to the table? In this video, we're going to be answering it because the issue that a lot of women are having in dating and relationships and also just life in general is that they don't understand where their superpower actually lies. And there's been a lot of confusion going on for the last few decades. So we are dispelling that in this video today. Hi, my name is Amanda Abello. Welcome to this channel. On this channel, we talk about how to manifest what you desire without all the extra stress, chaos, and drama that most people are accustomed to. Lately, we've been on a relationship kick with the feminine energy, masculine energy, relationship dynamics, because it was the season of love, and let's keep the train going, right? So if that's, like I said, if it's something you're interested in, make sure to subscribe. If you're liking this video, make sure to also give it a thumbs up, because that helps it get it in front of more women and also some very confused men. So do society a favor in healing and give this video a like so we can start repairing our relationships and our lives. And if you would like to go deeper with courses, coaching, classes on all the things that we teach on this channel, the information is in the description below. All right, guys, let's answer the question. What do feminine women bring to the table? First of all, this was inspired by the red pill guys out here asking women what they bring to the table. Now, when I was dating, never got asked what I bring to the table. My husband never asked me what I bring to the table, but a lot of women are out here getting asked. And first of all, this is a little tongue-in-cheek, right? Because if a man is asking you what you bring to the table, like, homeboy doesn't get it, right? He doesn't understand the power of a feminine woman, and he is not ready to be in a relationship with a feminine woman. So admittedly, the title is a little tongue-in-cheek, because if a man is asking you that question, he don't get it, sis. Just run in the other direction. This is more so that women understand where their power actually lies. Because once women understand what it is they actually bring to the table and where their power lies, no man is going to be asking them that question. No masculine man is going to be asking them that question, because they're already going to know. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, as I've mentioned, a lot of women do not understand the power that they have. A lot of women don't understand the power of feminine energy. A lot of women don't understand the level of influence that they have over men. So they're ending up in situations where they're cutting down men. They're ending up in situations where they're in lackluster relationships. They're ending up in situations where, quite frankly, they keep negotiating against themselves. And I will give examples of that momentarily. On top of that, there's just a whole lot of confusion because of the equality conversation about men and women are equal. They should have equal opportunities. They should have equal outcomes. And it's caused a big old mess where women keep shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to relationships. It's crazy, right? And a lot of people think that it's only if, for example, in the United States or certain parts of Europe like Spain or Canada or other parts of Western Europe. But the reality is that this confusion, because I think the greatest US export of all time is entertainment, and I say that as an American who does not live in the United States right now. You can't go anywhere in the world without seeing American entertainment. And a lot of American entertainment shows a lot of dysfunctional relationships. So a lot of the issues that we've been seeing with relationships and confusion that we've been seeing with relationships in the US, Canada, and parts of Western Europe, yeah, they're getting exported to other countries. So I was having this conversation with one of my friends here in Mexico. She's a holistic practitioner, and she's ready to start dating again. She's post-divorce, single mom, and she's ready to start getting out there again. And we were having this conversation about why women are so confused. And, because we're in spiritual spaces where we talk about this stuff, we've really studied the feminine energy and masculine energy and the dynamics between those two energies. And I was telling her, I think in Mexico, you guys are a little bit more saved from the confusion in a way, because Latin culture tends to be more traditional by general rule when it comes to relationships, and in Latin culture, family is like number one. So I think that's like the saving grace for certain cultures, where family is a very high priority in comparison to maybe some other cultures. And she said this very interesting thing to me, and she says, no, Amanda, you know what? The confusion is starting to happen here too. And we're starting to see it in broken relationships. And I was like, oh no. So the confusion is starting to go beyond the United States and beyond Western Europe. So that's one of the reasons why I'm doing these videos, and I'm about to start doing subtitles in Spanish for my Latin sisters out here. Please don't let it happen to you. Anyway, confusion, a lot of it has come from feminism and this idea that men and women are equal. The problem is, like, yes, men and women are equal as human beings, okay? A man's life is not more valuable than a woman's life or vice versa. The problem is that this completely discounts the fact that men and women have totally different strengths and weaknesses by general rule. And it also completely discounts what spiritual traditions, it doesn't even have to be religious, right? But what spiritual traditions have been talking about for eons, which is the dance between the masculine and feminine energy. So when feminism started coming into play, and we needed that first wave, quite frankly, it was fine, right? But it did cause a lot of problems. It has caused a lot of problems in relationships and in society, and now those problems are being exported via US entertainment to other parts of the world who didn't have as many problems in the relationship dynamics, or more accurately put, had different problems in the relationship dynamics. So because women are totally confused, so they keep comparing themselves to men, and they think that what they bring to a relationship and the energy that they bring to a relationship is the same as a man's. And my husband and I were talking about this the other day, because we like to have all these philosophical conversations about this stuff. And he put it perfectly. He's like, as a man, I can't do what you do as a woman, and as a woman, you can't do what I do as a man. Theoretically, yes, I can, right? And theoretically, yes, he can. But that may not be where the natural strengths and weaknesses lie. In addition to that, as I said, there is a spiritual component to this. And what's happening is that a lot of women are running around in survival mode, and a lot of women are overdrive and overdoing in their masculine energy, and you have men who, quite frankly, are acting like little biatches because they are too much in their feminine energy, and we have to get back to an equilibrium and a balance. So let's talk about what the masculine typically brings to the table, and then we'll talk about the feminine. So the masculine, what they typically bring to the table is provision. Yes, in the form of money, housing, protection, food, all that stuff. They bring provision. They also bring leadership, you know, like, hey, these are the decisions that we're making and this is where I'm going, right? That's the realm of the masculine. It's also a lot of problem solving. That is the realm of the masculine. It is structure. That's the realm of the masculine. The problem is a lot of women are comparing themselves to that and then thinking that that's what they should be bringing to relationships, and then they're ending up in situations where they're going 50-50 with a man, raising kids and working at the same time, which is women essentially negotiating against themselves. And in the worst situations, they're just paying for a man's bills, period, while he does little biatch things. I don't know. So what happens, right, is that if women are comparing themselves to men and the strengths that men bring and the spiritual gifts, let's put it that way, that men bring to a relationship, then they're comparing themselves to a man, but they're totally different than a man. And we have to acknowledge that there are these differences. So what are the strengths that feminine women bring to the table? And then you'll see how it's a really nice relationship between the masculine and the feminine, and very harmonious and symbiotic, and a whole lot less confusion and a whole lot less drama and a whole lot less fights. So number one, let's talk about money specifically. So what a lot of women don't realize is that the masculine, and this is how it was taught to us by our teachers here in Mexico, and I was like, this is one of the best explanations I've ever heard. So the masculine brings the material, the masculine brings the tangible, the masculine brings the actual money. It doesn't mean a woman cannot make money, but that's a nuance, right? Let's keep it simple for now. The masculine brings the money, the provision, the security, the protection, the material. That is the realm of the masculine. Do you want to know what the feminine brings in terms of money? Wealth. The multiplication of the money. The multiplication of the masculine's efforts. Okay? She's not out here efforting. She's out here multiplying. And a lot of women don't know that, right? And that's why you'll see a lot of billionaires and things, Elon Musk being the exception, because as one of my friends on Facebook calls him the world's richest Dusty, but he's one of the exceptions to this rule. But you'll see a lot of billionaires and very successful men credit their wives all the time for their success and for their wealth because they understand the dynamic. They understand that if it wasn't for her, he would not be where he is. And a lot of women don't understand that because they see the wife as like not doing anything, but really what the feminine woman brings is more intangible, and the multiplication of money is one of them. How does the multiplication of money work? Well, you're inspiring a man to do better. How do you inspire a man? By having standards for a man. A lot of you don't have standards for men, and then you end up with men with very low standards. Who would have thought? How you communicate those standards and how you inspire him has a lot to do with multiplying his money and multiplying his efforts. And also, a lot of women are very intuitive, so they might see certain ideas, right? So they might be like, oh, hey, babe, did you consider this over here? Because my intuition's kind of kicking in and maybe this is a good idea for you. Have you thought of that, right? And what I just did there was like asking him if he had thought of it rather than demanding that he go do something. The two are totally different. It was more like asking him whether or not he has guidance on it or has thought about it or has considered it, rather than being like, you should be doing X, Y, and Z to bring in more money and blah, 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 blah. So the communication in which the feminine inspires a man also has a lot to do with it. And admittedly, that is still something that I am working on. Other ways to inspire a man is basically the woman is the muse, right? So my husband told me this the other day because we recently got married, and he was like, there's no use in a man making all this money if he doesn't have a wife or a family or a home. Because it's like, why make all the money if you don't have a wife and a family and a home? It like gives the purpose, it gives the money a purpose, it gives the ambition a purpose, it gives the effort a reason, it gives the going out there every day and trying to do better a reason for its existence. Otherwise, like, what's the point? What's the point? So that would be a way of looking at it. Because he's like, money just to have more money? Like, honestly, who cares, right? What about, money to have a home, money to provide, money to give a woman a good life, money to give the family a good life? So it's things like that, right? And you'll notice here that what the feminine woman brings to the table is totally intangible in comparison to what the masculine man brings to the table. I didn't say she's paying half the bills. I didn't say she's making as much money as him or even more money than him. I didn't say anything about her making money actually. If she wants to go make money, cool, but I didn't say anything about her making money or going to go around to solve problems. Everything that I just said was about learning how to multiply his money and multiply his efforts so that he can become the man that he is supposed to be, and then you can become the feminine woman that you are supposed to become. And statistically, that kind of a relationship just works better. And I know that a lot of people out here talk about equality and fairness and things like that, and I brought that up with my husband because, like I said, we like to have these philosophical debates. And I was like, okay, well, what about fairness and equality and a lot of the things that women in the West talk about? And he's like, this isn't about fairness and equality. This is about like what constitutes a functioning relationship. And just because you bring different strengths and weaknesses to the table doesn't mean that you're not equal, but you have to acknowledge those different strengths and weaknesses, physically, psychologically, spiritually, in order to have something that actually works. And that doesn't really have anything to do with equality and fairness. It's just, this is what has the highest outcome of actually working, right? This is what has the highest outcome of actually being in a harmonious relationship. This is what has the highest outcome of having a long-term functioning marriage. That doesn't really have anything to do with equality. It's just, this is what works, right? Regardless of whether it's equal or not. And I brought up this very interesting thing where I said, it's really interesting to me, the equality and empowerment conversation, because if I look at most American women and the way that they're functioning in relationships right now, it's a lot of paying half the bills, raising kids, and working all at the same time. And then men being lazy and acting like little biatches. She seems more oppressed to me than women who are in other cultures not paying a single bill, right? Raising kids, being able to explore what it is that they desire, and on top of that, having help in the house, right? So you got American women out here who are negotiating against themselves in the name of equality because they don't understand what their strengths and weaknesses are and where their power actually lies in a relationship dynamic. So you're paying half the bills, you're working, you're raising kids, and you're doing the household tasks. And then on top of that, when you go to your man and be like, hey, babe, can I hire some help for the household? He calls you lazy. Yes, you have all have messaged me with these stories. Ma'am, if that is you, you are more oppressed than women in more traditional cultures who don't have to pay a single freaking bill and have help in the household to help them manage said household. So a lot of Americans or Westerners unfortunately don't know what goes on in other countries because either they don't travel enough or they just don't go looking for it or they don't understand nuance or they just don't go looking for other perspectives. And we have a whole other channel on being expats and Americans living in other countries. So we've been able to see some more traditional cultures where I'm like, that woman is way better off than most American women right now. And the American woman would think that she is oppressed, but that woman does not think she is oppressed. That woman looks at the American woman and says, girl, you got played. So that's an interesting thing to consider, right? That's an interesting thing to consider because I think that's a part of what is causing the confusion. So, what else does a feminine woman bring to the table? Well, I mean, you've probably heard the saying of, a man pays something, I'm forgetting it right now, but like a man pays for the house, but the woman makes it a home, right? There's household and there's home. So, a woman does actually make a house a home. Maybe she decorated it. I mean, I'll give an example, right? I recently got around to decorating this house because it was very utilitarian beforehand because my husband was like fixing stuff and renovating stuff and all that. And then finally I got a chance to decorate it. And I was having this conversation with my husband where I was like, what do you think I contribute? Like, just from his perspective as a masculine man, he's like, do you see what you did in this living room? Like, do you see this? And you did it with like not a lot of money either. Not that the money even matters, but I was resourceful and I made it beautiful. And he's like, I can't do that. I can't do that at all. That is all you. You're the one who actually makes this a home. I'm not able to do that. I can pay bills, I can fix stuff around the house, but making it a home, that's you. It's about the feminine creating experiences, right? So here's another example. We have help around the house, so I'm not always cooking. We do have help for that. And because my husband doesn't want me overworking, right? So we have help around the house. And but even if, for example, I may not be the one necessarily making the meal, I will prepare the meal. And then here are some of the ways that a woman creates an experience, right? I will start playing music downstairs on the Alexa while I'm preparing food. I will set music that's kind of a mood while we're eating. I'll light candles around the dining room area. So it's like, it's a vibe, right? So if I were to put this very simply, feminine women bring the vibe, right? That's what they do. And all that stuff really helps in calming a man down. They like that stuff because they're not able to really do it themselves. That's not necessarily their strength. That's not necessarily their area where they excel, is in creating little details and environments like that and making the simplest things very beautiful and luxurious in the environment so they can relax. So that's one of the things that a feminine woman brings to the table. That would be another example. And then, of course, and I've been saying this the whole time, it's inspiration. Oh, the big issue a lot of women have is they don't realize how much influence they actually have over men. A lot of women are very confused out here and think that the men are screwing them over in their lives. That could be because of the men you're picking, but it also is because women don't realize just how much power they have over men and the decisions that they make. That's where that saying comes from, which is the man is the head and the woman is the neck, Who's the one moving the head? It's the woman through her influence. And one of the things that you have to learn how to do as a feminine woman is influence him in a way that actually inspires him to be the best man that he can be. So those are the things that feminine women bring to the table. I didn't say anything about making money. I didn't say anything about fixing shit around the house. I didn't say anything about even cooking. In fact, I literally told you I don't cook. I do sometimes. I have help for cooking during the week. So it's not cleaning, because we have help for that too. It's not the doing of things. It's more like the being of things. It's the vibe of things, and that helps masculine men succeed. And then it's this beautiful relationship between the two, and this beautiful harmonious relationship between the two. That's what feminine women bring. And in terms of learning how to do those things, those are skill sets that can be learned. I did not grow up knowing any of this stuff. I had to go learn it for my damn self, right? I actually come from a line of very controlling women who have no idea how to do anything well, they know how to do a couple things, right? But generally, I come from a line of controlling women who did not put emphasis on any of this stuff, and they had conditioned me into being way too masculine, even though that was not really who I was, right? And it wasn't until like my 30s when I really started to understand a lot of these concepts that I'm talking about in this video today. So if I can do it after nobody taught me, probably nobody taught you either. These are skills that can be learned. They are skills that can be practiced. They are things that even though you had no exposure to them, you can get good at them with enough teaching, learning, and practice. And we're going to have a lot more courses and things coming out on these particular subject matters by popular demand, and you will be able to find the information for everything that is available below this video in the description. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, put it out to women out there so they can actually reclaim their power and know where their power actually lies, particularly in the realm of relationships. Because like I said, it's a whole mess out here, particularly in Western culture, and now Western culture is starting to export it everywhere else, and it's also causing problems in other cultures. So make sure to give this a like and share it, because it helps us get it in front of people. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we have coming out on this channel, and we will catch you on the next one.